Hello, Leo. Welcome back to the channel.
I hope you are doing well today.
I wanted to pull some cards for you because there is something really interesting coming through in your energy right now. This reading is about someone who wants to apologize to you, someone who wants to make things right. But Leo, there is so much more to this situation than just a simple apology. The cards are showing me layers here, and I really think you need to hear all of this before you make any decisions about how to respond. So I am going to go deep into what the cards are revealing, because this is not a surface-level situation. This involves your heart, your boundaries, and your future, and I want to make sure you have all the information you need. Let me start pulling cards and we will see what the universe wants you to know right now. The first card I pulled for you is the Five of Swords. And Leo, this card is telling me so much about the background of this situation. The Five of Swords is traditionally about conflict, about someone winning at all costs, about a situation where there was a battle, and someone walked away feeling like they had to protect themselves even if it meant hurting others in the process. When I see this card in relation to an apology that is coming your way, it tells me that whatever happened between you and this person, there was real conflict. This was not just a small misunderstanding or a miscommunication. There were harsh words, there were actions that hurt, and there was a sense that someone was trying to win or be right, rather than actually understanding your perspective. What I find really interesting about the Five of Swords in this position is that it often represents someone who fought dirty or who was willing to do whatever it took to come out on top in an argument or situation. This person might have said things they did not mean, or maybe they did mean them in the moment, but now they are realizing the cost of their words. The figure in this card often walks away with the swords, technically victorious, but at what cost? They are alone. Everyone else has left. And I think that is exactly what is happening here with this person who wants to apologize to you. They got what they wanted in the moment. Maybe they got the last word. Maybe they made their point. Maybe they walked away feeling justified. But now they are looking around and realizing that winning that battle cost them something precious. It cost them you. This card is also showing me that you, Leo, probably felt really hurt by whatever happened. The Five of Swords can indicate feeling defeated, feeling like someone was unfair to you, or feeling like you were in a no-win situation. You might have walked away from this conflict feeling exhausted, feeling like no matter what you said or did, this person was determined to see things their way. And that energy of feeling unheard or feeling like someone was more interested in being right than being in a relationship with you, that probably cut deep. Leos have big hearts, and when you love someone, you love them fully. So having someone treat a conflict like a competition rather than something to work through together, that goes against everything you value. But here is what the Five of Swords is also telling me. This person is now seeing the situation differently. Time has passed, emotions have cooled down, and they are starting to realize that they handled things poorly. They are looking back at that conflict and seeing their own behavior more clearly. Maybe they talked to friends about it, maybe they have been sitting with their own thoughts, or maybe they have just matured a little bit and gained some perspective. Whatever the reason, they are no longer in that combative energy. They are moving out of that Five of Swords mentality where it was all about winning, and they are starting to understand that they lost something far more valuable than any argument they won. I want you to really sit with this card, Leo, because it is giving you context. It is reminding you of what happened, not so you hold on to resentment, but so you remember why you needed to protect yourself in the first place. When someone comes back with an apology, it can be really tempting to forget all the pain they caused because you are just so relieved that they are acknowledging what happened. But the Five of Swords is here to say, do not forget. Do not minimize what you went through. This was real conflict, real hurt, and that needs to be honored even as you consider whether to accept this apology or not. The second card I pulled is the Seven of Swords. And Leo, this is where things get really interesting and honestly a little bit complicated. The Seven of Swords is the card of strategy, of secrecy, of someone not showing all their cards or not being completely upfront about their intentions. When I see this card in a reading about someone wanting to apologize, it makes me pause because the Seven of Swords is not typically associated with pure, straightforward honesty. This is the card of someone who has an agenda, someone who is thinking several steps ahead, someone who might be telling you what you want to hear rather than what is actually true. Now, I do not want to make you paranoid or tell you to completely distrust this apology that is coming, but I do think the Seven of Swords is asking you to be aware and be discerning. This person who wants to apologize to you, they might have motivations that they are not being completely honest about. Maybe they miss you and they genuinely feel bad. That could absolutely be true, but there might be other layers to why they are reaching out right now. Maybe they need something from you. Maybe they are feeling lonely, and they remember how good it felt to have you in their life. Maybe they are seeing you move on or do well without them, and that is triggering them to want you back. Maybe they heard through mutual friends that you are in a good place and they do not like feeling left. Behind the Seven of Swords is showing me that this apology might be partially genuine but not completely transparent. This person might be telling themselves they just want to make things right. But underneath that, there could be an element of wanting to get back into your good graces so they can have access to your energy again, your warmth, your loyalty, your generosity. Leos give so much to the people they care about, and I think this person remembers what it was like to be on the receiving end of your love and attention. They remember what they lost, and the Seven of Swords suggests they might be being a bit strategic about how they are approaching you. Here is what I really want you to hear about this card. Someone can apologize and mean parts of it while still not being completely honest about all of their motivations. Both things can be true at once. They can genuinely feel sorry for hurting you, and they can also have ulterior motives for reaching out. The Seven of Swords is not necessarily saying this person is a villain or that they are consciously manipulating you, but it is saying that they are not laying all their cards on the table. They are being selective about what they tell you, about how they present their apology, about what they are hoping will happen once you forgive them. I think the Seven of Swords is also speaking to something else here. Leo. It might be asking you to look at whether this person has a pattern of this kind of behavior. Have they been strategic or slightly deceptive in the past? Have there been times where you felt like they were not being completely honest with you, or where they told you what you wanted to hear but their actions did not match? The Seven of Swords can indicate someone who has a habit of taking shortcuts, of bending the truth to suit their needs, of keeping secrets or holding back important information. If this person has shown you that pattern before, this card is asking you to remember that. People can change, absolutely. But the Seven of Swords is suggesting that right now, in this moment, this person might still be operating from that same playbook. What I find really important about the Seven of Swords in this reading is that it is empowering you with information. The universe is giving you a heads up. It is saying, yes, this apology is coming, but here is what else you need to know. Here is what might be happening beneath the surface. And that knowledge is power, Leo. It means you do not have to go into this situation blind. You do not have to just accept everything at face value. You can listen to the apology, you can consider it, but you can also trust your intuition about whether this person is being completely real with you or whether there is something they are not telling you. The third card I pulled is the Ten of Swords. And wow, Leo, this card is heavy, but it is also incredibly important for understanding the full picture here. The Ten of Swords is the card of painful endings, of betrayal, of hitting rock bottom, of feeling like everything has fallen apart. This is one of the most dramatic cards in the tarot deck visually, usually showing a figure lying face down with 10 swords in their back, and it represents that moment when you just cannot take any more. It is the absolute worst point, the moment of total defeat, and it usually comes after a long period of struggle or denial. When I see the Ten of Swords in this reading about someone wanting to apologize to you, it is telling me about how bad things got before this person finally realized they needed to make amends. The Ten of Swords suggests that whatever happened between you two, it reached a point of no return in some way. Maybe you completely cut this person off. Maybe you made it very clear that you were done and you were not going to keep accepting their behavior. For you, Leo, the Ten of Swords might represent how you felt after that final conflict, or after you decided you were done. You might have felt completely defeated, completely hurt, like everything you had invested in this connection was wasted. The Ten of Swords can feel like betrayal, especially if you trusted this person and they let you down in a significant way. This card often appears when we have been trying to make something work for a long time, trying to see the best in someone, trying to be patient and understanding, and then something happens that just shatters all of that. It is that moment when you realize you cannot do it anymore. You cannot keep getting hurt. You cannot keep giving chances that are not being valued. But here's the thing about the Ten of Swords that is actually hopeful, even though it looks so dark. This card represents an ending, yes, but it also represents the fact that you cannot get any lower than this. When you are at the Ten of Swords, the only direction left to go is up. This is the darkest before the dawn kind of energy, and I think that is what is happening for this person who wants to apologize. They have hit their own Ten of Swords moment. They have sat with the consequences of their actions. They have felt the loss of having you out of their life, and they have reached a point where they cannot deny the pain they caused anymore. The Ten of Swords forces us to look at truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable or painful. This card is also showing me that this situation had to reach this point of total breakdown before anything real could be addressed. Sometimes we need that absolute ending, that complete severing, before we can see a situation clearly. If things had just stayed in that uncomfortable gray area where you were still sort of in contact but not really dealing with the issues, nothing would have changed. But the Ten of Swords energy forced everything to a head. It made it impossible to ignore or gloss over what happened. And in that sense, as painful as it was, it might have been necessary. What I want you to understand about the Ten of Swords in this position, Leo, is that it is validating the depth of what you went through. This was not a small thing. This was not just a little bump in the road. This was a significant, painful experience that brought you to your knees in some way. And when this person comes to you with their apology, they need to understand that. They need to acknowledge the full weight of what happened, not just give you a surface-level sorry. The Ten of Swords is saying that anything less than a full, complete acknowledgement of the pain they caused is not good enough. You hit rock bottom because of this situation, and that needs to be recognized and honored. The fourth card here is the Devil. And Leo, this is such a powerful card in this reading because it is speaking to patterns, to attachments, to the shadow sides of relationships, and to the ways we can become trapped in unhealthy dynamics without fully realizing it. The Devil card is not about evil or anything that dramatic, but it is about bondage, about feeling stuck, about addictive patterns or toxic cycles that we keep repeating even when we know they are not good for us. When I see the Devil in a reading about someone coming back with an apology, it makes me think really carefully about the dynamics of this relationship and whether accepting this person back into your life would be healthy or whether it would be stepping back into an old pattern that was not serving you. The Devil often appears when there is a strong attachment between two people. But that attachment is not necessarily healthy. It might be based on intensity rather than stability, on passion rather than respect, on need rather than genuine love. When we are in Devil energy with someone, we can feel drawn to them even when we know they are not good for us. We might feel like we cannot fully let them go even though they keep hurting us. There is this magnetic pull, this sense that we are tied to this person in a way that is hard to break free from. And Leo, I think that is what the cards are asking you to consider here. Is your connection with this person healthy and balanced, or is there a Devil energy to it where there are unhealthy patterns, power dynamics, or addictive cycles? The Devil can also speak to the shadow side of this person who wants to apologize. What are their deeper motivations? The Devil is associated with temptation, with selfishness, with ego, with wanting to possess or control rather than truly love. This card is asking you to look beneath the surface of this apology and ask yourself what this person really wants. Do they want to make things right because they genuinely understand how they hurt you and they want to be better? Or do they want you back because they do not like feeling like they lost you, because their ego is bruised, because they are used to having your energy and attention and they miss it? The Devil can indicate someone who is motivated by their own needs and desires rather than by what is actually best for both people. I also think the Devil is speaking to potential patterns in this relationship or connection. Have there been cycles before where this person hurt you, apologized, you forgave them, and then the same thing happened again? The Devil is the card of being stuck on a wheel, going around and around with the same lessons, the same conflicts, the same disappointments. If you have been in this cycle with this person before, the Devil is a big red flag asking you to really consider whether accepting this apology will lead to actual change or whether it will just restart the same toxic pattern. You deserve better than being stuck in a loop. Leo, you deserve relationships that grow and evolve, not ones that keep bringing you back to the same painful places. Another layer of the Devil that I think is relevant here is the question of freedom versus bondage. When you cut this person off or when the situation reached that Ten of Swords ending, you probably gained a sense of freedom. You were no longer walking on eggshells, no longer dealing with the drama or the conflict, no longer giving your energy to someone who was not treating you right. The Devil is asking you to consider whether accepting this person back would mean giving up that freedom. Would it mean going back into a dynamic where you feel controlled, limited, or unable to fully be yourself? Would it mean reopening yourself to manipulation or emotional games? These are serious questions, and the Devil wants you to be honest with yourself about the answers. But I want to be fair here and mention that the Devil can also represent the work of breaking free from these patterns. If this person has done their own work, if they have looked at their shadow side and their unhealthy patterns and they are genuinely trying to change, then the Devil could represent that process of liberation. It could mean they are trying to break free from their own demons, their own unhealthy behaviors, their own ego-driven choices. But here is the thing, Leo, you cannot do that work for them. They have to do it themselves. And the Devil in this reading is asking you to really assess whether you see evidence of that deep work or whether you are seeing someone who is still operating from the same old patterns, just with a nicer presentation. The fifth card I pulled is the Four of Wands. And this is interesting because the Four of Wands is such a positive, celebratory card. This is the card of harmony, of celebration, of stable foundations, of coming together in joy. The Four of Wands often appears around weddings, gatherings, homecomings, or any situation where people are celebrating a milestone or achievement together. So what is this card doing in a reading that has been pretty heavy so far? I think the Four of Wands is showing you a potential outcome, a possibility that exists if certain conditions are met. The Four of Wands is suggesting that there is potential for this situation to transform into something positive and stable. If this apology is genuine, if this person has truly done the work to understand their mistakes and change their behavior, if healthy boundaries are established and respected, then there is a possibility of rebuilding something good here. The Four of Wands is about creating solid foundations, and that is exactly what would be needed. You could not just go back to the way things were. That did not work. But you could potentially build something new, something healthier, something based on mutual respect and honesty. I think the Four of Wands is also speaking to what you deserve. Leo, you deserve relationships that feel like celebrations, that bring joy and stability into your life, that feel like a safe home base rather than a constant battlefield. You deserve people who show up for you consistently, who honor their commitments, who make you feel valued and appreciated. The Four of Wands is a reminder not to settle for less than this. If this person wants back into your life, they need to be willing to help you build this kind of energy. They need to be willing to put in the work to create something stable and joyful, not just recreate the same drama and chaos that existed before. This card might also be indicating that regardless of what happens with this person, you are moving toward your own Four of Wands energy. You are creating stability in your life. You are celebrating your own achievements. You are building a strong foundation for yourself. And that is beautiful, Leo. You do not need this person to have that. The Four of Wands can exist in your life with or without them. But if they want to be part of your Four of Wands, they need to contribute to it positively, not tear it down. The sixth and final card I pulled for you is the Ace of Pentacles. And Leo, this card feels like such a gift and such an important message for you right now. The Ace of Pentacles is about new beginnings in the material world, about opportunities, about tangible offers and real concrete manifestations. This is not about promises or words, this is about action. The Ace of Pentacles is something you can hold in your hand, something real and valuable. And I think in the context of this reading about someone wanting to apologize, the Ace of Pentacles is saying that words are not enough. You need to see real change, real effort, real proof. When someone comes to you with an apology, Leo, that apology needs to be backed up by the Ace of Pentacles energy. They need to show you through their actions that they mean what they say. The Ace of Pentacles is asking you to look for tangible evidence of change. Are they respecting your boundaries? Are they being consistent? Are they showing up in the ways they said they would? Are they actually doing the work to address the issues that caused the conflict in the first place? These are the things that matter, not just pretty words or emotional appeals. I love that the Ace of Pentacles is here because it is very grounding and practical. All the other cards have been about the emotional and psychological aspects of this situation, but the Ace of Pentacles brings it down to earth. It says, okay, here is what actually matters. Here is what you should be looking for. Here is how you will know if this is real or not. The Ace of Pentacles does not lie. It is either there or it is not. Either this person is putting in real effort and making real changes, or they are not. There is no gray area with this card. The Ace of Pentacles can also represent a new opportunity that is completely separate from this person and this apology. It might be the universe saying, hey, while you are dealing with this situation from your past, there is also something new and exciting trying to come into your life. There might be new opportunities in your career, new financial prospects, new ways to build security and abundance for yourself. The Ace of Pentacles is always an auspicious card, and it suggests that you are entering a phase where you can manifest real, tangible success and stability. Do not let this situation with someone from your past distract you from the new blessings that are trying to come in. My sense, Leo, is that you should listen to this apology when it comes, but you should not rush to accept it or rush to let this person back into your life fully. You should take your time, observe their actions over time, and make sure that what they are showing you matches what they are telling you. The cards are not saying this person is bad or that you should definitely reject them, but they are saying to be smart about this. Protect yourself. Honor what you went through. Require real change. And do not let anyone back into your inner circle unless they prove they deserve to be there. You have been through a lot, Leo, and you have come out stronger. The universe has your back, and these cards are giving you the wisdom you need to navigate this situation in a way that protects your heart while still leaving room for genuine reconciliation, if that is what is truly happening here. Trust yourself. You know what you need and you know what you deserve. Do not settle for anything less. I hope this reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments if you are experiencing this situation or if any of this felt familiar. Sending you so much love and strength, Leo, you have got this.